Hi, community. This is Jamie from Healing Voices Network and the provider at Internal Alignments Healing Arts. And here we are again, 2025 Spotlight Series, highlighting voices who have all sorts of wonderful thoughts, beliefs, and wisdom to share with us all. And today we have Janelle Watson. She is the founder of the mind energy transformation movement. She helps women transition their lives through quantum energy integration, and which helps women clear blocks which have been holding them back. And that way they can harmonize their thoughts, their body energy, and just to create abundance. And so she really shows us how to step into the flow of receiving and trust that the universe really does have our backs. And her real big mission right now is to help women who feel like they're tired of just being just enough and helping them really step into overflow. And so, that really brings us to the topic we have today is around luxury. Can you explain a little more about what that means to you?
Okay. Hi, Jamie. Thank you. And hello, everybody. Yes, luxury, a lot of people seem to see it as being perhaps a brand, Chanel, Gucci, all of that sort of thing. It might be handbags, shoes, yachts, even,
Hmm.
it has to do with, a lot of money and wealth. But luxury can be anything, really. Luxury is a feeling, it's an energetic feeling. And it could simply, luxury for you may be living in a bar company in the middle
Mm,
of a forest, right, with your
right.
soulmate. It may be living in a community with other amazing people, and you have the luxury of being a part of that community. It's
Yes.
whatever lights you up, right?
Ah,
It's
there.
whatever lights you up. And
Okay.
that's where it actually comes in, is that luxury is really about light
Mm-hmm.
and what
Mm,
lights you up at a soul level,
right.
not just at the programmed level or what society expects or thinks or believes.
Hmm.
So it's comes down to the fact that women really need to, I'd say practice, but that's not the real word, really need to step into trusting themselves and what feels good for them
Mm,
rather than going, well, this is what I'm supposed to be feeling.
yeah.
This is what I'm supposed to be experiencing. The luxury of actually having that trust, that self-worth, that self-knowing, that inner guidance that you
Hmm.
can tune into
Yeah.
is where it really all comes down, because we're energetic beings, right? We're energetic
Hmm.
beings having this amazing human experience, and we forget that as energetic beings we're light.
Right, right. Well, I mean, like society just kind of crushes us down over a period of time. And so you're right. A lot of us just live the status quo and
Yes.
forget how to trust ourselves. So when you say women trusting themselves, is that like an embodiment of a certain feeling, or how would you describe that?
It's more like living the experience.
Mm, mhm,
So embodiment is one way of doing it, but I find embodiment, when it comes to the power of words, embodiment sometimes feels a little bit like being trapped.
ah,
Do you know what I
okay.
mean? Being caught into or only inside the body. Do you know what I mean?
Okay,
Whereas
yeah.
the reality is our soul is both in us and outside of us. Our senses are both in us and outside of us. We have physical senses, we have spiritual senses, we have
Hmm.
a aura, which is our beautiful energy field.
Yeah.
And I find that I don't often use the word just embodiment very often, simply because words are important to me. As for somebody who I find that certain words have certain energy, and they do. It's yeah, and
Yeah.
that's why they
Yeah.
call it spelling, right? Because
Yeah.
words create little spells around us. And
Yeah.
it's the power of words. And I find embodiment a little bit like mindset. It's something that is a container, and
Ah, okay.
right. And so I find that those words uh, don't resonate for me. They
Okay.
don't feel flowy enough for me.
Mm, okay.
So what it's really all about is the inner trust is more like just simply viewing yourself, your worth, and who you are through the eyes of your soul, seeing yourself from a soul level, right? I
Yeah.
mean, think about it. If you were to think, how would my higher self see me? Would my higher self limit me? Would
Mm,
my higher self judge me? Would my higher self love me? Yes. So, see if you see yourself changing that perspective and looking at yourself and knowing you can trust yourself from that perspective, that's
ah,
where the power starts to set in. That's where the power starts to build and you start to feel it, because it's all about energy, right?
right, right. And we can tangibly feel energy too. And like you're talking about trust, that's a form of energy. Okay, I trust that, let's say you don't like coconuts. I trust that this plate of coconuts I am not going to appreciate. So I will go with the peaches or something like that, right? And it really is as simple as that, even in these big life choices. It's about
Yeah.
feeling.
And
Mhm.
trusting your gut. People talk about, oh, the gut feeling and all the intuition. And your intuition is really just using your clear senses, right? It's just
Right.
using your senses. And your senses are in your body as well.
Mhm.
So whenever you get a feeling and you get a bit of excitement, you get it in that excitement, that tingle in your tummy, right?
Yeah,
That's a gut feeling as well. People tend to associate a lot of these things with the negative, but it's not. It's also to do with the positive stuff, the
yeah,
joy, the excitement, the love that comes through when you do certain things. When you do things that light you up, you get that tingly feeling in your tummy,
that's so
right? And
true.
so that's your inner knowing going, this is what I love doing,
Right.
because it's kind of like saying, this is the real me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
This is who I really am, and accepting that
Yeah.
and not caring what other people might say about you. You know,
Mm-hmm.
it's very important not to worry too much about, and that's where luxury comes in, having the luxury to know I really don't mind what other people say, because I know and I
Yeah.
embody, I guess is the word you've used, myself, enough to know that I'm pretty freaking amazing.
Yes.
And once you
Yeah.
step into that feeling of luxury, you're like, hey, I'm pretty cool. I
Right.
like being pretty cool. Other people find me pretty cool. If others don't, that's their loss. That's
Right.
their problem,
Exactly.
their journey.
Mhm. That's true. It's really hard to remember that we're all on our own individual journeys. We're just so intertwined and intermingled at some points that it's like, oh, okay, well, maybe their opinion or their little bits of wisdom is something I should take on for myself, and that's my intuition. Where it's like, no, 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 yes, there is truth to some things they're saying, but that doesn't mean that it's meant for you, you know. It's
Right. And that's what I work with my clients with a lot, is to help them, first of all, remember that they're on their own journey,
right.
but also remember that others are on their own journey as well.
Hmm.
Sometimes we
Yeah,
forget that everyone's on their own journey,
yeah.
and we think, well, you know, why is it that they're doing this and I'm not? Well, maybe that's not your journey or your path, because there's something even more exciting to you. And
Hmm.
that's what luxury is about as well. It's the excitement. And as
Uh,
I said before, it's to do with lighting you up, right? It's what lights
right.
you up. And that's why I'm opening the doors for Lux and Light.
Uh-huh.
But
Uh,
Lux being Lux, not Luxe, not short necessarily for luxury, because luxury really is light, right? It's the
right.
luxury of having light.
Yeah.
Lux is actually illumination. In
Mm-hmm.
Latin, it actually means illumination. It's also the name that Source gave me, Source, divine, the universe
Yeah.
gave me to use when I channel them. Lux, Lux. I went and looked it up.
Oh
I
my gosh,
actually,
that gave me,
they
I'm
gave me
like,
Lux goosebumps.
I got goosebumps.
I, I went and actually looked it up. And when they gave me Lux, I'm like, Lux. But I was writing it out. I was doing some automatic writing and
Uh-huh.
I wrote it out. Source goes, no, we'll use the term Lux, use the word Lux. And I'm like, okay, cool. And later on, I thought, I need to look that up. What do they mean? I looked it up, and LUX is actually the illumination. It's the measurement of illumination. It
Oh,
means illumination. And in
okay.
Latin, it means illumination.
Illumination.
So the
Oh,
name of the new thing that I'm actually creating is Lux and Light, because it's
yeah.
illumination light, right? It's all
Right.
about lighting us up. And that's where we actually play on the word lux as well, with luxury
Uh-huh.
coming into that as well,
Yeah.
because it's just that having that, it's a little bit like the visible meets the invisible light.
Yeah. Okay. So,
Okay.
and how do you relate that to our individual experiences?
Well, it's what lights you up, and that's the term
Okay.
that we use. What lights you
Yeah.
up, right? So it's how we actually your radiance, what makes you, when you look at somebody and you go, you're glowing,
Ah, yes.
you know,
Okay. Uh-huh.
and that's where it is, because their inner light shines,
Yeah.
and that's where it starts to come from. And when you find that the divine presence in you is starting to shine through,
Hmm.
you actually glow. And people say to you, when you enjoy things and you're stepping into the overflow of everything, it means that you light up from the inside out. And that's what we're here to do,
Right.
right? Is to have that luxury of lighting up from the inside out,
And just
enjoying every moment that we possibly can. And if there's a moment that we don't really enjoy, realizing
mm,
that it's there to help us.
right, to find the light again,
Yeah,
specifically within ourselves, because
that's right.
we do have to have those periods of healing, right? And that's when we
Yes.
feel like we're stuck in the darkness, and then boom, something happens and you're back into that state of light, of oh goodness, the word is escaping me, but you're totally right. It's that illumination coming from
Yeah.
inside. And I love
And
how
you'll
you
find,
said the glow. It's a glow up.
yeah, and it is, it's a glow up, right? It's like, it's even as something as simple as, when you've had a really bad cold, or you felt a bit for a few days, and then
Yeah.
suddenly you feel well again, and you're like, I'd forgotten how awesome this feels to feel better and really good again. It's that same sensation. If we hadn't felt really yucky, would we appreciate it as much, feeling the way we do now? And there's
Mhm.
all of that as well. And it's a case of sometimes we just need to step into those times and accept that those times are there where we feel a bit down, or we feel a bit unsure, or we're not sure what's going on, or why something's happening, or we're triggered. And look, everybody's like that, part of our human experience. We're here as a human to learn.
Right.
We get that, and then we move through that, and we get past that, and then suddenly it's like, oh my gosh, I
Right.
feel amazing, right? It feels so good. And
Uh-huh.
you can't have the dark without the light without the dark. With that, you can't have one
There,
without the other.
you gotta have them both interchangeable. But I can see
Yeah,
how, when we're talking about that light feeling good again, how that can relate to the concept of luxury, of just,
yeah,
you know, because when you feel good, you want to keep that energy going, that feeling going. There's like this sense of ease within you.
yes,
And so
yeah,
that also depends, I would think, on certain choices you make. And sometimes they're scary choices, right?
yeah. And that's the thing, is if once you are feeling that that overflow of luxury, because that's really what luxury is, isn't it? It's a bit of it's an overflow. It's more,
Right.
it's not just enough. It is more than enough. It is that feeling of, oh my gosh, expansive.
Right.
Once you've got
Something
that expansiveness, you trust yourself more. And if you
exactly like
trust yourself more and
just
you've got decisions to
something.
make,
Uh-huh.
you can go, okay, I can do this. It feels empowering. It
Yeah.
lights you up because you suddenly go, hey, I've got this. I can
Uh-huh.
do this.
Mm-hmm.
There's those little niggles, those little self-doubt, where doubt pokes you a bit
Yeah.
and sort
Yeah.
of goes, hey, you're like, I'm
Uh,
fine. I'm good.
no.
And it,
No.
it does, it helps you with decision making. It
Uh-huh.
helps you with being more. It helps you with radiating who
Yeah.
you are, where so you can sit there and go, and it also helps you to trust in your decision making.
Yeah. Very much
And
so.
that's a big thing as part of our human journey. We have to make decisions all the time.
Yeah, we do every single day. And sometimes they're just easy stuff, what's for dinner, or um, things like bigger stuff. Oh, do I want to stay in this job or not? And do something that
Yeah.
has been calling to me, but it's not as uh, monetarily stable right out of the gate, which is okay. But what it is, for me, as you're speaking, it really made me feel like this expansive energy is being a part of or believe in something bigger than ourselves.
Mm.
Maybe it's something we're doing, but it's still not just like internalizing our emotions, ruminating on our thoughts. It's something outside of ourselves, right?
Yes. Right. Exactly. And knowing that we're never truly alone,
Yeah.
right? You're never alone. No matter how dark it might get, you're never truly alone. And that's where the spiritual side of things come in for me as well, with things knowing you've got guides, you've got a team, you've got on the other side, but you've also got other people who are part of your community. And the more that you step into being who you are truly meant to be, the
Hmm.
more you'll find there are other people who are around you who are truly meant to be around you.
Yeah.
And that again builds your, because as humans we come through and we're community people, right? And that's with the new age that's coming through now. It's all about community,
Yeah.
being part of a community again. So we've stopped the whole individualizing everything, and we're
Right.
starting to build communities again. And that's what I love doing with my clients, as well as building communities where they support each other, where they step in, where they go, hey, we're there for you, with you, a part of what you're doing as well. This is my journey, but we're each on our own journey together,
Yeah.
if that makes sense.
No, that
Right.
makes perfect sense. Like
And the
there's
age of
that
Aquarius
vibe.
is all about community. It's bringing
Uh-huh.
back the flow of community. And
Yes.
that's where I think we've really fallen down over the last few centuries, where we've been so focused on ourselves as individuals and not part of a community. Whereas now
Right.
we're bringing that back in again, and
Uh-huh.
having the luxury of being part of a community is just expansive. There's no
Yeah.
other word for it. It's fully expansive. And once you can trust others in your community as well,
Uh-huh.
and know that you can do that, that's so cool, right? It's
It really is. It really is. There's just this beautiful vibe that happens and a sense of like-mindedness that comes along. It's like and that's where the trust comes. And it's not just trusting someone else, it's like trusting yourself that, yeah, I know how to pick a good friend. Here's my good
yeah,
friend. You know, we're good. We're good. That's
yeah,
part of, I can see how that's part of the concept of luxury too, is like who you surround yourself with, that
yes,
that that abundance of not just
yes,
money. That's something that we were conditioned growing up, is that abundance means money. And it's really amazing to have these conversations where we're reminding people that abundance is not just about money. That's kind of a byproduct of everything else. That's a symptom of what you're trying to illuminate within you,
Yes,
right?
and you'll find that you can have abundance really just means a lot of, right? Or an
Right.
overflow of,
Yeah,
which is
that's the
what we're talking about.
definition.
So you can have an abundance of health, you can have an abundance of love. It doesn't have to be in a financial abundance, you know. You can have an abundance of purpose. You don't have to have just one purpose in life, which is
Right.
another thing I do with people, is to help them see there's lots of different purposes. There might be lots of different reasons they're here. What are they
Yeah.
doing? Why are they doing this? You know, is their purpose to be a parent? Well, yes, okay, cool. But there's other purposes as well outside of
Yeah.
that. And
Yeah.
spreading and realizing that there's more than just, you know, oh, one sole purpose. We're here to have a
An
experience, an
experience.
abundance of
Yeah.
experiences, right?
Yeah, exactly. And that's the main purpose. Yeah, maybe we have an overarching purpose and that's kind of the blueprint we come in with. But you're totally right. We have these little mini things going on. And I talk to my clients a lot about that too, because they ask, "What's my purpose?" And it's like, it's not about knowing purpose, it's more about living purposefully every day.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Exactly. And expanding, you know, into whatever your life journey is meant to be.
Right.
And
Hmm.
it's meant to be fun. It's meant to, and look, some of us come through to experience things like perhaps we struggle with money, or we struggle with health, or we struggle with certain things,
Hmm.
but it doesn't mean we have to experience it for the entire lifetime.
Right.
So if you've been doing this and you go, cool, I've been experiencing, you know, a little bit of poor health. Once you're feeling healthy again, you're like, okay, let's be tick, done.
Right.
Let's,
Done.
you
Not
know,
doing that
there's
again.
people, yeah, they get trapped into that whole thing of, oh, I have to do it the whole time. No, you don't.
Right.
Change is what it's all about. And actually having the reality of being a creator, you're creating your life experience. So, okay, great. Where do I want to go now? I want the luxury of being able to create my own life experiences.
Mm-hmm.
I want to be able to do that's what I'm actually looking at actually doing. My community, might be a community of artists because I'm feeling the pull of being an artist. My community might be singers. My community might be people who are teachers, who work
Yeah.
with children with disabilities. You know, there's a whole
Yeah.
range of things. Once you
Sure.
find your community and you realize that that's the abundance of your life,
Mm-hmm.
it's really cool. It's really cool because it's all about the luxury of being in the overflow. And that's what it comes down to, you know, lighting you up from the inside
Mm-hmm.
to be in the luxury of overflow,
Yes. Sounds
not
about
just enough.
right. Yep. And sometimes we have more than one community too. And that just like it really makes things so much more expansive. Like, yeah, I'm an artist, so I have a community of people we
Yeah.
create with, and then the community of the spiritual, and even family units can be community
Yes.
as well. Um,
Yeah.
and so that's if people out there are worried, oh, I'm not alone, I don't have community. It's like, yeah, if you take a look around, you probably have more than you got, and you just
Mm.
gotta um I don't want to say just open your eyes to it because sometimes we do have resistance from our own self-conscious
Oh,
or worth,
yes.
our issues around worth. But it's really good to keep reminding them of what they do have. And
Mm.
so is that something you do in your program is help people to remember what they already have?
Absolutely. Because it's all about coming back to who we are
Uh-huh.
at a soul level, right? And then expanding from there because we evolve.
Right.
So a lot of people talk about becoming, but I'm not sure becoming is the word that I resonate with the same, I've just said about words and things, because it's not really becoming something different or becoming a part of a community it's really about evolving. It's
Right.
really about growing, because growing is about expansion, right? So figuring out who we really are helps us to then see who we can trust and who we can work with and who we can, expand our lifestyle with
Yeah.
in so many different ways. And it's a matter of looking at your perspective. So it's a matter of changing your perspective. And instead of going, well, I've got nobody around me, perhaps let's look at this through a different lens and go, really? What
Right.
about over there? Or what about over here? And people start to go, oh yeah. Oh yeah. And you
Mm-hmm.
start to see that shift. And there's so many, I find working with women who are around 40 plus,
Uh-huh.
for me resonates, because women get to about that age and they're starting to get to either a stage in their career, perhaps, well, where they've, always worked that career, or they want to change, or it's the time of change. And of course, in
Yeah.
women's bodies, you've got, menopause and things that are starting, perimenopause and menopause and things that are starting to
Yeah.
kick in. So you've got physical stuff
It's
happening,
just
but you also
a
have the emotional changes and the
right.
who am I really, and losing the roles of being just a mum, just a wife or a partner or a daughter or whoever. It's like, well, who am I? And they
Right.
start to look into me, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because they can't figure out who else they are without actually knowing who they are inside. And that's why I find a lot of women 40, 50, 60s, I've actually got clients in their 70s who are suddenly going, oh, I'm not just,
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Mm-hmm.
so much more than just this.
Yeah.
What's next?
Yeah. Yeah, it's really depending on how you've lived your life, it's really easy to just identify yourself as one thing. And then, like you said, like parenting, kids turn 18, they fly the nest. Oh my gosh, I've only identified myself as a parent. Now what?
Yeah.
I mean, I can really relate to that because my daughter's almost 18, and I had a conversation with my big brother, and he's like, she's going to be 18 soon. You really need to find what you want to do and be before. That way you're not like in total
Yes.
shock. And I was like, that's genius. That's really good advice.
It is because we do tend to define ourselves based on our roles,
Right. Hmm.
right? And then suddenly your role changes or disappears.
Uh-huh.
And so your sense of self-definition has to change.
Right. And
And
you get a little shaken up. Yep. Mm.
yeah, I mean, I was actually in my 40s. I had my youngest just before I turned 40. So in
Oh,
my 40s, I had a baby.
oh goodness.
I took off, right?
Uh-huh.
And 9 years difference between the two boys. And it was like having two individual children, like two independent. So by the time he got to 9, my oldest was 18 and leaving the
Right.
nest, and he was still 9 and under 10. And it was like, how do I function this way? Just, so I was kind of turning into a mum whose children were leaving, but still a mum of a younger person, and confusion. And that's why I work with women around that age, because there's also that thing that comes in, is that there's
Yes.
some women. My sister-in-law had her youngest at 46.
Oh goodness. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
my.
And that completely threw her as well, because she was starting to think that, oh, well, she was, getting out of the just being a mum thing. And then
Yeah.
she had this baby suddenly. And like, so you find we all find that we get to certain stages in our lives and we assume that we'll be a certain way. We may not be a certain way, or
Right.
we've been a certain way all our lives and
Yeah.
we're not anymore. And the changes and the shifts that happen can throw us for a loop.
They really can. I'm just thinking like I have this like train of thought of like all these little things that have changed. And it's true, they can throw you for a loop. And it's so important to stay grounded. Remember what you
Yeah.
already got, and your team, or community. Um,
Yes.
and those three things will get you through all of it. And it sounds like
Yeah.
that's really what you're teaching is like remember yourself mainly. And remember, you
Yeah.
are part of a greater picture.
That's right. Because if we go a little bit woo here, we are a spark of the divine, right? So
Mhm.
that means that if we're a spark of source energy, having a
Yeah,
great human experience, it's our job to have this great human experience, right?
right,
So
right.
it's kind of like you see it that way, and it's like, okay, so I'm doing this human experience. I want to do it the best way that I can.
Uh-huh. Yep.
I want to have the luxury of going, yeah, this
Yeah.
is the best human experience I've ever had.
Yeah.
And
Right.
let's make it that, right?
hmm my favorite thing I've been saying lately is, yeah, that's my vibe. That's my vibe. That's my vibe. And for a little bit I was like, that was a weird thing to say. And then I realized when I checked in with my body, I was like, no, that's literally my vibe. I was feeling that. It makes me feel good. I'm just going to keep following that thread of thought or that thread of energy. And that can be hard for some people. You follow it for a little bit and then there's a challenge or something that really, you can unavoidable. So how do you help women kind of move through those
Well,
barriers?
it's like decision making in a way changes for us as we age
Right. Okay.
because we find that we either trust ourselves, I find implicitly with women, get to a certain age and they either start to trust themselves more because
Mm-hmm.
they're stepping into that confidence, or they trust themselves less
Mm-hmm.
because there's been so many bumps in the road by the time they get to this stage. They question
Yeah.
everything. And so, one of the big things I find that people really, women especially, really resonate with is putting your hand on your heart and
Mhm.
just feeling, closing your eyes and going, is this okay? Do I feel okay? And I've watched women do this over the years, and I've watched them go, no, it's not. Well, if it's not okay, why are you doing it?
Right.
Good question. Good question, right? And things will change. You'll find that things that you used to vibe with, and I love the word vibe, right? Because vibe is
Uh-huh.
energy. Yeah.
Right.
Like you go to a concert and you'll love the vibe, right?
Right. Right.
Women will, people will over time change things that they vibe with because their energy shifts and their
Yeah,
things
true.
shift and their life shifts and things change. But some people, they don't trust themselves enough to actually go with the flow and stop doing what no longer feels good. They do it because they
Mhm.
always have. And so
Right.
one of the big things is to
Yeah.
check in with yourself and see, does this really feel good to me? Even when it comes to relationships.
Yeah. It's so true. And, safety has been something that has come up with a few clients of mine is like they've always done the same thing, even though they hate it, because there's a sense of safety in it. And so I'll challenge them to do the thing that they've actually wanted to do. And when they come back, I'm like, so did you feel safe doing it? Every single one said yes. And so I'm like, see, you don't have to do one thing, maybe you stick to the one thing because that's what makes you feel good, but every day make one different choice.
That's really good advice, Jamie. That's great advice because sometimes changes just need to be incremental,
Oh, yeah. A
right?
little bit
I
every
mean,
day.
so some people, I see some people, they step off the cliff and they're like, yes, bang. Like, okay,
Hey, did you
cool.
grab your parachute?
Some people, yeah, they do that. But most people, we make incremental changes.
Right.
And I think the big one of the big eye openers for a lot of my clients is when I say to them, people talk about manifesting,
Mm-hmm.
and I work with manifesting, quantum energy, quantum
Yeah.
field,
Mm-hmm.
thoughts, not all thoughts are yours, all that sort of stuff. But the big thing that most people think about, don't realize, is that you manifest good and bad, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
That you've manifested where you are right now,
Mm-hmm.
right? Every decision you make is a form of manifestation.
Mm-hmm.
So if we change and we tweak the way you're making decisions, if we change and tweak the decisions that you're making, what does that mean? That means you're actually manifesting something different.
Right. Exactly. You may not see it today or tomorrow, but guarantee you in 1 year, think back to now and you'll see yourself different. You'll see your circumstances different. Maybe you're still in the same job, the still same house, same family, whatever, but the vibe of it, I love that word. The vibe of it has changed.
I love it too.
And
Yeah.
hopefully it's much more expansive and feels more easygoing, right?
Yes. And you're that's right. And depending on one of the big things I find is when I start working with women and we start these incremental changes,
Uh-huh.
is the increments grow over time.
Right. Okay.
So their capacity to make change can actually grow once they start accepting and realizing that the changes they're making are actually for their own benefit
Uh-huh.
and are actually beneficial to both them and their journey.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Right. And once you do that, you'll find that your trust increases. So therefore, you can make a slightly bigger incremental change or larger incremental change next time.
Mm-hmm.
And then after you've been doing that for a while, the trust kicks in and you can go, okay, that was fairly cool. I feel confident enough now to make a bigger incremental change.
Yeah.
And that means that you're actually bringing change in. And it's a form of what people talk about collapsing timelines, because
Mm-hmm.
you're actually making changes faster than you would had you been doing these lots of little tiny incremental steps.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. No, that makes sense. That makes perfect sense. Um, and I relate to that within my own experience. Like, um, I first met you as one of my teachers. And so, I think during that first class I took with you, I might have been a little resistant in certain areas, but you kept like kind of prodding me. It's okay. Just keep, you know, just take that step forward or do that one thing different. And you're right, the capacity to allow yourself to make bigger and better decisions for yourself really is practice. It takes practice and trust. Um,
Trust.
trust and that word gets tossed around so much that it's
Mm-hmm.
almost has like a lower vibe to it. And so how do we as healers and people who really work in the energetic fields, how can we explain to people what trust is, how to be trusting?
That's a really big question. I love
It
it.
kind
I
of
love it. I love it.
is.
Trust is, you're right, it's overused. It's a
Hmm.
little bit like authenticity is overused.
Right. Hmm.
They become buzzwords, right? Um, Trust is basically when, if you can put your hand on your heart
Hmm.
and you can close your eyes and the feeling bubbles up and not down, that's what
Hmm.
trust really is. Does that
Yes,
make sense?
it makes sense. There's this, if I put a name to it, it's about the body because I'm a hypnotherapist, and so
Yes.
most of everything I work with is in the body field. It's subconsciously that's what it is the physical field. And when you can just do something like that, close your eyes and feel
Feel
comfortable,
the bubbles.
feeling
And
the
that's what I find.
bubbles, feeling,
Feel the bubbles. Do you feel the
yeah.
bubbles rising? You
Oh
know
yeah.
that you can trust it, right? It's
Yeah.
that rising fully feeling,
Uh-huh.
a bit like the bubbles in a bubble bath sort of feeling. You feel the bubbles rising. And
Yeah.
when you feel the bubbles rising, that's trust.
Right.
And that's what I say to people. It's not just one word you can replace it with, because words are words, right?
Hmm.
But it's the sensation, the feeling. And
Yeah.
also the reason we actually put our hand near where our heart is because our heart, and it's been proved scientifically now, our heart actually has so many,
Hmm.
the capacity to actually have so many emotions around it that
Yep.
it actually magnetizes, right, and attracts things in. So if your hand is here going, okay, what is my heart feeling? What
Mm.
is the sensation here? Then you know it's your body going, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, do it. Heck, jump off that cliff if you really need to. Do it without a parachute if you want, you
Yeah.
know.
Uh-huh.
And it's fine. I've actually had one of the things when people shift levels on a spiritual realm, a lot of people, or they break glass ceilings and they're moving through, because I do that
Yeah.
work as well, is that oftentimes they'll get almost like a vertigo.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason that it's actually a bit of a vertigo is it's because your body's actually adjusting to the physical changes of the energy in your body, right? Because
Yes.
that's what they talk about, ascension, okay, because you're going
Yeah.
up. And it's that your body, it's the same as actually getting vertigo when you stand on the edge of a cliff and you go, that's a really long way down. And you
Yeah.
sort of sway and you're feeling, oh wow, or
Yeah.
it's that same sensation for that same reason, because your body has to adjust to it.
Right. No, that makes perfect sense. A lot of our experiences are completely subconscious. Like basically 5% of our human experience is conscious.
The rest is sub.
95% of our world is subconscious. It's felt in the body. And and that's why, you know, coming back to the sense of luxury, when you're feeling luxurious, maybe it's even just an amazing bubble bath, you know,
Yes.
that
Yeah.
brings you back into your body. So there's this greater awareness just in general. It's interesting how it all kind of circles back around, this biofeedback.
Exactly. And that's exactly right, because we have more than just our physical senses. We have our other senses as well. We have our knowing, our inner knowing, our intuition, all of them. They all are part of that feeling of luxuriously living our best
Uh-huh.
life. And that's what it comes down to. Even if a bit of luxury means a mum who has a young child gets a little bit more sleep,
Yeah.
that feeling can be luxury, right? And
Hmm.
that's what my work is, to help women to understand that it's okay. It really is okay to feel that luxury, to feel that light, to feel that vibe, to feel that it's okay, because we're brought up thinking that either it's only for a select few,
Hmm.
or that we're not worthy enough.
Right. That's so true. And then with social media and all of that, it just really is in your face. And so you see all these things that seem or most likely unattainable. And as humans, we're like, we want what we don't have. So, and then you beat yourself up because you can't attain it. And you know what? That's just fine. It's not your journey. There's something else that's good for you.
Which is probably feels a lot better.
Probably, probably. Yeah, you're right. Coming all the way back to around to that feeling. So we're kind of coming up to the end. Is there anything you really want to bring into the picture of what luxury is?
Um, I think the thing to remember is that luxury is whatever lights you up. Luxury is for everybody. It's not, there is no one size fits all.
Mhm.
It's whatever lights you up. And how boring would it be if we were all exactly the same? I say this over and over. You know, it is so amazing that you are a unique individual and luxury means what it means for you. And there is no wrong.
It's
There
true.
is no wrong. Just do what lights you up, what makes you happy, what brings you
Yeah.
joy, and you'll
Yep.
glow. You will light up from the inside. And if you feel the call to, message me, Jamie will have my details to come and find out a little bit more about the Lux and Light. Feel
Mm-hmm.
free to do that as well. I'm happy to have a chat with
Yeah.
anybody who wants to find out a bit more. I also do a little bit of one-to-one
Oh, good.
with people over, a series of a few days, just to
Uh-huh.
see where you're at or to work with people. So happy to have a chat with anybody about that as well.
Okay.
But yeah,
Yeah.
look,
Good.
live your life in luxury because honestly, lighting up from the inside is what we're meant to do.
Yeah. It's true. That's the purpose. That's the big purpose. So, well, wonderful, Janelle. Thank you so much for coming back on and sharing your wisdom with me and just having a darn good
Chat.
conversation.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
love it.
Yeah,
Thank
and
you.
I'll make sure everyone knows how to get a hold of you
Thank you.
and have a beautiful day. Here
Yeah,
I'm in the US, so it's evening time, and for you it's tomorrow morning.
it is. It is. So mid-morning. So thank you. Thank you for your time and your generosity. And I love your energy. And thank you to
Mhm.
the beautiful listeners who are listening to us.
Yeah,
Watch.
exactly. All right. Kisses.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.